And joining me right now is the Deputy Chief of Staff to President Zelenskyy, Ihor Zhovkva. Ihor, thanks very much for being here. We want to give our support to you and President Zelenskyy. Can you give us a sense of what's happening today and how the last 24 hours has been there in Ukraine?
Thank you. Thank you for your support and thank you for having me. Well, the last 24 hours were usually hard on the ground. There were heavy bombardments of cities of Ukraine. Kiev suffered several hits on the multi-story buildings. And yes, unfortunately, there are some victims. The same as they are bombarding the cities in the east of Ukraine and in the south of Ukraine. But currently, the Russians are not receiving, any success on the ground. So they are not having been able to encircle any larger city, nor the capital Kiev, neither capital Kiev nor cities of Kharkiv or Odessa, which they want to have as their victory. Unfortunately, they managed to encircle some smaller cities in the south of Ukraine and east of Ukraine. And some cities are suffering from genocide. The city of Mariupol in the south of Ukraine, in the near bordering the Sea of Azov, is suffering through already 14 days. They are not letting people to be evacuated. Only yesterday we started to evacuate some people from this city. But generally, Ukraine is struggling. Ukraine is surviving. My president is very brave and being an example not only for his people, but also for the example for the whole world.
Yeah, I mean, I know that you have been right there with President Zelenskyy in a bunker. How are you staying safe, and what do you need now? I know that President Zelenskyy will be asking Congress tomorrow for more support. Can you give us a preview on specifically what he wants to ask Congress and what Ukraine needs today?
Yes, my president will be speaking tomorrow to the Congress, and his speech will be bright and brave as usual. But you well know what we're demanding from the U.S. and from the rest of the international leaders. We are doing more or less fine on the ground, but we are suffering in the air. So this is very important to have a no-fly zone over Ukraine. We hear that NATO countries, including the U.S., are not ready to do this. In this regard, we are asking to enrich us with the defense capabilities. We are talking about air defense system or anti-missile systems, because every hour, every day and night, the cruise missiles from Russia or missiles from the jets are flying over the Ukrainian cities and killing Ukrainian civilians and soldiers. We are also asking for the fighter jets, which are badly needed for Ukraine now to defend its air. So it's absolutely possible. You have to only have a will to have this. Another very important subject is the sanctions. Well, the U.S. is introducing some sanctions, and we're thankful for this. Very important are sectoral economic sanctions, but more sanctions against Russian goods and commodities are very important currently. So import on Russian oil and gas and coal, freezing the Russian assets in the banks, closing the ports of all the countries on the world for Russian goods, etc. So every economic sanction is important to help us to tackle the Russian aggression.
Well, the prime ministers of Poland and the Czech Republic and Slovenia headed to Kiev to meet with President Zelenskyy today. What kind of a package are you expecting from your neighboring countries? What do you want to see there?
First of all, there are three brave and courageous leaders to attend Ukraine in these hard times. So this is a good example for other world leaders to do this. Secondly, yes, one of the aims of them coming to Ukraine to meet my president and prime minister to discuss the financial and economic package of support for my country, because sooner or later we will win and we will have to restore our economy. So we're talking with the European Union leaders. We started this talk during the last Versailles summit to already think of how to create funds for stability and for recovery of Ukraine. We're also looking for the donor conference of the European Union to get the funds to restore my country. And secondly, very important issue is for Ukraine to join the European Union SWIFT procedure, because my president summoned an application to the European Union to become swiftly a member of the European Union. Unfortunately, some of the European leaders are still reluctant to have this procedure swiftly. They would rather tend to usual bureaucracy that would last for decades. This is not the case for my people, for Ukrainian people, and for my president. We want it now. We are fighting for Europe at the forefront, and we want to have an adequate reaction of all the European leaders.
Ihor, why do the peace talks keep failing? There have been 4 attempts at diplomatic talks. Your President Zelensky has said he's ready for a diplomatic solution. What's going on with these talks that they can't get past go?
You have to understand the talks which are currently taking place are the provisional talks. Yes, there's a 4th round already of negotiations on the level of delegations. Yesterday it was terminated. Today it will be resumed. But very important to prepare the final talks which will be taking place only between the leaders, because my president keeps asking President Putin to sit on the negotiation table together, by the way, with the world leaders, because we have not only to talk about the end of war in Ukraine, how to make a ceasefire or how to withdraw Russian troops from Ukraine, but very importantly to think of possible security guarantees for my country. We're deprived now of any security guarantees. NATO is not willing to accept Ukraine to its members. Then in this case we have to have a strong and hard system of security guarantees for this not to happen, not only against Ukraine but against all the other European countries, because Russians cannot, may not stop in my country, will not defeat the aggressor. So that's why now Russian side is telling, okay, we still to have some time on the level of delegations. We are ready, but my president would be ready to talk directly to Putin as soon as he is ready to bring the war to the end in Ukraine.
Well, Europe seems to be supportive. The UK has added 350 new sanctions listings on Russia. The UK says it's added 9 new listings under the cyber sanctions regime. And you've got Germany's finance minister saying that Germany is open for more sanctions versus Russia. And the finance minister said that no one who supports Putin is untouchable at this point. Where do you see the most support? Is it Europe, the U.S., specifically Germany? What do you think, Igor?
Well, the US and the UK are doing fine. I mean, we are generally satisfied with the current level of sanctions as of today, but we need more. As far as the European Union is concerned, they are lagging behind a little bit because, you know, personal sanctions are quite good, and they are introducing personal sanctions against the Russian elite, and they're doing here fine, more or less. But what matters, and that's where they're lagging behind, the economic and sectoral sanctions. Again, we are talking with Germany, you mentioned Germany, but also with the other countries like France. We need additional economic sanctions. Today's 4th package of sanctions is not enough. Closing of ports, freezing the assets, depriving Russian energy resources from the European markets, everything which matters now. I would urge European Union leaders to be more active in this regard.
Well, Igor, what can you tell us about the bloodshed at this point? I know that the Ukrainian people have been inspiring for the entire world, but we have seen real bloodshed here. How many Russian soldiers do you estimate have been killed? What about Ukrainian soldiers?
Well, the number of Russian soldiers killed is more than 13,000, and the number increases because, you know, now they stopped a little bit their offensive, but every day they might resume. My president announced the number of Ukrainian soldiers died, which is 1,300, but unfortunately, you have to understand every day the number of casualties is increasing, unfortunately. So that's why this war has to be brought to an end as fast as possible.
You are there in Kiev, where the Russians are inching closer and closer to. When are you expecting them to arrive? Will they get? I mean, you are what, in a bunker? How are you protecting yourself and President Zelensky as well?
Well, President Zelensky is fine. He's well protected. As far as the Russians come into Kiev, they plan to invade and to capture Kiev within 2 or 3 days of the war. Now we're having already 20th day of the war, and Kiev is still functioning. It's operating, it's living, and it's enough forces to defend Kiev. Certainly, if they, hugely, significantly increase the number of Russian armed forces, if they kill every Ukrainian in the city of Kiev, they can capture it. 2 million people are inhabiting Kiev plus the armed forces. So Kiev is well defended, well protected. But they might become crazy and to wipe it away from the ground, like they're trying to do with some smaller cities. Outskirts of Kiev are very highly bombarded and attacked, and some cities became absolutely, ruined, and people are encircled and live in the terrible conditions without water supply, without food, without electricity. They want to encircle Kiev and to make a blockade of Kiev, but they will not manage to do this.
And you believe you will be able to fight back and save Ukraine?
Absolutely. That's what we are sure about.
Igor, thanks very much for being here. We will be watching this conflict and certainly send you our support and best regards. Ihor Zhovkva, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.